Okay, let's review function notation. Function notation is this f of x, which remember that's really the same as y equals, but what it does is it says find the value of the function, find f of 5. What we're doing is we're plugging a 5 in for x and finding the value of the function. So f of 5 would equal 4 times 5 minus 9, which is 20 minus 9, or 11. For question 2, they tell us that f of x is equal to 8 minus 3x, so that's our function. But then they also tell us that f of x is equal to negative 19. So since they're both f of x, these have to be equal to each other. So 8 minus 3x has to equal negative 19, and then we can just solve our equation to find the value of x. Subtract 8 from both sides. You get negative 3x equals negative 27, and then divide by negative 3. And you get x equals 9. Let's just plug that in and make sure. 9 times 3 would be 27. 8 minus 27 would be negative 19. So you can always check your work there. Okay, for numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6, there is supposed to be a line on this graph. So if you want to pause the video and add these lines, or add these points to your graph, we need that to answer the questions in numbers 3 through 6. Okay, for number 3, they're asking find f of 3. So remember, 3 is your x value, and we're trying to find f of 3, which is equal to your y value at 3. So if we look at our graph, we want to go over to an x value of 3 and then look up to see what our y value is. Looks like our y value is 5. So f of 3 is equal to 5. It's basically like finding the point 3 comma 5 on your graph. This one, they reverse it. They're telling us that f of x equals negative 5, so that's like saying the y value is negative 5, and they want us to find the x value. So let's look at our graph. Let's find a y value of negative 5. Okay, and it looks like it's going to go off the graph, but if we continue the same pattern, we could figure out 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's see, that would be negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. So it looks like if we did have a little bit of a bigger value, the x value here would be negative 7. Okay, f of negative 2, that's similar to number 3. That's like finding an x value of negative 2, and we want to find what the y value is. So that one's a little easier. If we go over here to x equals negative 2, you can see that our y value is 0. Okay, last one. If f of x equals 6, that's the same as saying y equals 6. That's the same as saying, what value of x gives us a y value of 6. So let's go up here to our y value of 6, and if we go over to the graph, you can see that came from an x value of 4. So x is equal to 4.